evaluation process if you have a timeline in your own mind for the next 12 to 18 months?
That's a great question. Yeah, I don't think I've said it. I think I've always said if a player bubbles up at some point, that player would deserve a look. So, I think us integrating the 23s has almost given us a second pool of in terms of a team to put players in to see them there. So that's been great. But for this group, yeah, I think I'm still in a look and see. I think January was a good camp. Looking at some different things in here. Obviously, the league will start up again, but I kind of in my mind I gave myself about 8 months of really vetting and testing players, because I know obviously this tournament's a big one, and we have some other fantastic games this year. So that's really where I need to see some of these players.
How are some of the young players gelling with some of your veterans?
Good. Yeah, making room together. No, I'm just kidding. No, they're good. The older players have always been very welcoming. And so I think, you probably would have to ask the newer, younger players. But I feel there is still a good energy and a good excitement. They integrate very well. At practice, at meals, you can see them, talking and mixing up. And then on the field, it really just matters if they can play. And I think the players we've brought in have done quite well in that regard.
Go ahead.
Can you discuss about the plaintiff's match here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I've been here a few times, and it's always been. I'm glad that there's no snow on the ground, but it's always been a good venue for us. I haven't yet been out to the field, but that's a big part of why we wanted to come to an MLS environment where we know that the surface is going to be great, and then hopefully we'll get a good crowd tomorrow. So yeah, we're excited to be here. We got in last night, and it's always been a great city. A soccer city.
Are Germany a different proposition under a new coach?
For sure. Yeah. I think it's as much as you want to give your team an idea of what the opponent will look like. Yeah, there's already some nuances that are different. They haven't played a game, I think, an official game since last November, much like us. So it's a bit of an unknown, but historically, what you always know is you're going to get, fantastic players organized. Marizan's role is grown and grown, I think, in the past few months. And she's one of the best players in the world. So I think it's going to be an incredible test for us and a very big challenge.
This winter, we saw Alex and Crystal and Carly make moves to European clubs. Just what are your thoughts on them using this year to go after these new experiences?
Yeah, I think it's. I think that's what it is in terms of these players want to explore other environments, and we've been obviously 15 and 16. We've been heavy with our programming. This year, the commitment even to the league is when the NWSL league is when they're in that league, we're playing FIFA dates. So that obviously puts everybody in the same category, whether you're playing domestically or overseas. Yeah, I think for them it's an opportunity to see something different, experiencing something different, and all three of them have never been overseas. So, yeah, I think for them it's a great opportunity for them to experience, high-level teams or slightly different things. Every environment you can go to that you can take away something, I think is going to benefit us here in the long run.
Yes, hi. Was Megan Klingenberg beaten out just by someone that impressed you more, or was an injury? Injury issues?
Megan hasn't been in with us since, it's been about 4.5 months. So brought her in here, just was cleared to train, and brought her in here to evaluate her. And yeah, she's not ready. So, yep.
Jess McDonald, Lynn Williams, have they kind of closed the gap quickly in your mind on just entering the scene a few months ago?
They've done well. I think that the test will now be, can you put the ball in the back of net against good teams? That's kind of really the ultimate test for these forwards. All of them. So I think I think they've done very well. They've integrated very well. They have special qualities, and now it's because that consistency. Can you be a big time goal scorer at the top level?
We always have to ask you the obligatory Carly Lloyd question. She's coming back here. How about the way she continues to develop, what you're seeing in her game at this point?
Yeah, I think it's Yeah, Carly, I mean, we've had several conversations, and I think what we talked about at the end of last year was what exactly is her role going to be. And, I think she's been very, very open. I think at times, what Carly, the biggest takeaway right now for Carly is patience. She has become a lot more patient in her positioning and trusting her teammates to be able to get her the ball in the spot exactly where we wanted to get the ball. So if you watch her now, I mean, before she was, even with Pia, a box-to-box midfielder, and now, I think she's one of the best players in the world in, we call it seam two, in front of an opponent's back line, facing an opponent's goal. So, what I've said to her is, if that's the best spot and that's where you're most productive, let's see if we can get you there as much time as possible. So now it's a matter of trusting her teammates to be able to find her in that space. And yeah, from there, she can shoot from distance. She's great with a final pass. If we're trying to regain, she's quick on the pressure. So it's a good role for her. But I think that's where she's evolving, is becoming a little bit more patient and more thoughtful in her positioning to get a ball.
Go to her, and then Jonathan.
Joe, what are you expecting from Ashlyn Harrison? Does she have the ability to be your clear number one goalkeeper?
Well, that's to be determined, and that's part of this is, what I committed to after the Olympics was giving them games. Well, in truth, this is the biggest game for Ash and Alyssa. These are the biggest games right now, because when you're suddenly competing to get on a podium, it puts a whole new emphasis on the importance or the stress, really. And so I think for both of them, it's these games are big tests. Listen, is one game going to determine it? No, you have to look at consistency in a player, and so what I'm committed to there is to get them games. I know she's done very well in the league, but again, it's a different level, and it's not just seeing them one-off or a couple of games or a game against a lesser opponent. It's seeing them against these big opponents and see how they manage the stress, the pressure, and obviously the action, because they can get a lot of it.
Jonathan, go ahead.
Alex Morgan had the flu, I believe, came in with a bit of an ankle knock. How is she, first of all?
Good. Yeah, we'll see today. She's going to come out and train. So, this will be her first training. She flew straight to here. We met her here. Talked to her in the elevator, talked to her at a meal. Seems like her stomach has settled down, and she feels pretty good. So, we'll see.
What should folks expect from Brianna Pinto at this point?
What's my expectation on Pinto?
What's yours? What should everybody else watching?
Yeah, I mean, having her in here is she's gaining so much just being in and around it, training with these players every day. Pinto is a player, and I've said this before. It's a position in the six with Sullivan getting hurt. We, I think we still need to deepen that spot. She's done well. She's of course young, and what I'm trying to look at is, okay, where is she now? Where could she be in 2 years investment with us in here? And that's really why I'm looking at her. Will she play in this tournament? I don't know, to be determined. But getting her this major tournament under her belt at 16 years old, I think is going to benefit us.
Graham?
So when did you first start thinking about Len Williams as somebody who could fit with this team?
Yeah, for sure, watching her in the league. I think at that point, I started pretty much post-Olympics. Obviously I watched the games during the whole time, but you start to see this consistency in her. And her first year, she wasn't as consistent. And I think first and foremost, she deserved a look, based on her productivity. Then when I brought her in, and her willingness to learn, her coachability, her, for sure, her athleticism, her nose for goal, pretty quickly I thought, she's someone that I think, again, we have to see her and invest in her over these next few months to see what she's capable. So I'm excited to see her in this tournament for sure. I hope she's a handful.
Just looking ahead slightly, on Saturday you're honoring Christy.
Yeah.
What have you seen from her through the years? Even now, she's still active. Is there anything that sums her up?
Just a world-class person, and for sure a world-class player. I mean, Christy has been, since I took over, she was such a cornerstone of this team. And then, did I lean on her? For sure. Her leadership, her personality, her steadiness, and for sure her performance. She's just been, she's kind of in a league of her own. And, I still track her and keep in touch with her. And, she's just an amazing person. And the other cool thing is her post-national team career, she's going to always be one of those players that's going to be supporting this program and wishing us well.
Anything else for Jill? All right. Thanks, folks. The bus is